Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, so that means it is book day and video day, book day, every kind of day on my channel. Friday's the only day anything normally happens. And carrying on in the series of the Walsh Sister books by Marian, and today we are going to be looking at Angels, which is Margaret / Maggie's book. So she is the second Walsh sister, so she's the second eldest, and like Rachel, she belongs to the type A build of sisters and look of sisters. So she's tall and has dark hair and is quite, I don't know, I think they're kind of described as big boned, but I don't know, not even a thing anymore. But yeah, so she's a type A sister. And Maggie is, I always feel really bad for Maggie. I feel like she is like the overlooked Walsh sister. She's the overlooked one in the family. She's the one that kind of people assume things of, because she is in Rachel's holiday actually. Mammy Walsh has them all lined up and runs her eye along them and kind of says 1 out of 5 ain't bad. So she's kind of like the white sheep of the family when everyone else is the black sheep. The other 4 are the black sheeps. So yeah, I feel like she kind of gets a bad rap a little bit, Maggie. So again, I'm going to be going off what's on the back, because there's quite a lot on the back of these books. I'm really glad I've got the old ones where they put a lot on the back, so I can talk around about a lot of the issues that happen in the book and not give away any spoilers, because that's what we try and do on my channel, stay spoiler free. And yes, I still haven't found Watermelon, but I thought I'd go in the order now of the books when they came out rather than the sisters, even though the next 2 books are, well, technically they're not, because Anna comes next, but after Anna, Helen's book comes. So the last 2 are in order. It's just, I don't know, for some reason Rachel's holiday came out first. Alright, I'm going to stop rambling about the order of the books now and get on with talking to you about Maggie's journey that she goes on in Angels. Actually, I have a really funny story about this book that I thought about when I was in bed last night. I don't know how I remember this, but I was reading this book when I was on a school trip to, we went for the day to France to see the World War II battlefields in northern France. So we got the bus and the Eurochannel over to France for the day and then came back. And I remember I was reading this book on the bus. I think it was on the way back, and I had 2 seats to myself or something, and I was lying across them, and all my friends were like, oh, Kate's reading porn or something. And I was like, I'm reading a Marian book, which I have just dropped, chucked across the room. I was like, yeah, I'm reading a Marian book, like, it's really not porn. But I can't remember how it came around, or how that even came up. Maybe it was like, I don't know, the wings and the angels or something. I don't know. But that was when I was 16, so I have been reading this book since I was 16 years old, and I am now 34. So that's a long old time that I've been reading these books by Marian. So me and the Walsh sisters are good friends. Anyway, sorry, that's a random little detour for you. I'm not doing very well with this book review so far. Okay, let's get into it. So, as I said, Maggie is kind of the white sheep of her family. She's done everything right. She's sensible, she's by the book. At 33, she has a proper job, is happily married to Garv, and generally never fits a foot wrong until she leaves her husband and runs away to Hollywood, that is. Although it's not quite as simple as that. So her and Garv are kind of going, her husband Garv, or Paul Garvin, who the rest of the sisters in the family don't like apart from Anna, are going through a rough patch anyway. So it's not like she just wakes up one day and is just like running off to Hollywood. They're kind of going through a rough patch anyway. And in LA, Maggie finds that life couldn't be more different. The primping and the preening and the partying are non-stop, and even the palm trees are skinny. So this is, again, in the, like Rachel's holiday, it's a few years after Rachel's holiday, because in Rachel's holiday, Maggie and Garv are living in Chicago. So this one came out in 2002, and Rachel's Holiday, I believe, is 97, 98. So this is about 5-6 years later. So they're back living in Dublin, living in Ireland. They've got a nice house. They've kind of set up with their sensible jobs and everything, and life is going swimmingly. And then they hit a speed bump, and Maggie decides to go off and see a friend who's living in LA, and stays with her best friend Emily, who's a struggling screenwriter, and she starts doing things she'd never done before, Maggie. So she helps Emily with her screenplays. So also while Maggie is in LA, the rest of the Walsh contingent, or some of the Walsh contingent that are living at home in Blackrock in Dublin, decide to pay Maggie a visit and decide that they need a holiday. So Mammy Walsh, Daddy Walsh? Is that a thing? Someone Irish tell me you call your dad Daddy. Daddy. That's a terrible Irish accent, I'm really sorry. So yeah, Mammy Walsh, Mr. Walsh, Daddy Walsh, Helen and Anna go out to LA and cause all sorts of upset, as usual, wherever the Walsh clan go. Things get a little bit dramatic. So that happens as well. And all while this is going on in the background, Maggie's dealing with her marriage breakup, kind of on the rebound. And while she's in LA, she starts experimenting a little bit. She goes, I think she kind of has a, what's the word I'm looking for? She kind of, I keep wanting to say resurgence, because that's not the right word. Regression, that's it. She kind of regresses back to her teenage years, in a way, or kind of early 20s, and lives that kind of wild life where she's kind of flitting about, meeting pop stars, film stars, pitching film scripts to studios with Emily. A fun LA time because she's there on holiday, and she meets Troy, a man so non-stick he's known as Human Teflon, and she has an interesting time with Troy. And then while she's out in LA, she also discovers that an ex-boyfriend is out there. So Garth is her first boyfriend. He's not her only boyfriend, but she does realise that an ex-boyfriend is out in LA as well, and he works there, and he works out there occasionally, and they kind of went through something when they were going out together, and I guess she's kind of never got over it, but it's something, it's an experience that has stayed with her, and therefore kind of he's stayed with her. You know how that expression of someone living rent-free in your mind? I think this ex-boyfriend kind of does that in Maggie's head. I'm not entirely sure if that's kind of the right explanation of it. I'm probably not doing a very good job of explaining this, but that's how I kind of think of it. Because I think we've all got people in our lives that kind of stay with us, whether we want them to or not, and it's just how it is. And as annoying as it is, it's just life, really. We all have those people that annoyingly just stay in our brains whether we like them or not. So he's part of the experience that Maggie has in LA, and as I said, all this is going on kind of with her marriage breakup in the background, and obviously her family are out there now, so that's kind of affecting her and the way she behaves. Anna and Helen are in their early 20s, and they're going off and kind of, oh no, they must be late 20s. No, mid to late 20s, I'm thinking. They can't be early 20s by this point. Because if Anna comes next and she's 31 in her book. No, she's 33 as well in her book. God, everyone's 33 in their books. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. So yeah, they must be, Helen and Anna must be Anna must be late 20s, Helen mid 20s. So they're causing all sorts of drama because they are Walsh Sister type be and very pretty, especially Helen, who's kind of like one of those ridiculously good looking people who like just attract trouble anywhere they go. And she's a real kind of character, Helen. I actually cannot wait to get onto Helen's book to discuss that. Anyway, sorry, going off on a tangent here. But yeah, I think this book is really good. So that's kind of all it says on the back. It just kind of goes on from there to follow Maggie on a journey of discovery from suburbia to suntan, taking in some heartaches and lots of martinis along the way as she discovers what she really wants in life and why she really walked out of her marriage. So I think she gets spreading her wild oats in a way, but not really, or isn't in much of a way as Maggie would ever do, out of her system, and has that real kind of crazy rebelliousness that she possibly never did in her teenage years. And she just kind of describes herself as normal, whereas in all her sister's books she's described as a lick ass. And in this book as well we get to learn a bit more about Rachel, who's doing well. She's doing a course to become a kind of addiction counsellor, which we know about Rachel anyway. So yeah, Rachel's doing really well in this book, so we kind of get an update on her story and her story with Luke as well. And we also get a Claire update in this book, which I really like, that throughout the book we get to follow each sister's journey. And I think Maggie comes across the best in her book as well, and in Anna's, the next book along, because her and Anna are quite close, and she's got a real kind of integral part to play in Anna's story as well. Like Anna plays a little bit of an integral part in her story, Maggie's story. And it's really nice, I think, that Maggie gets, not that Maggie wouldn't get her own book, but it's nice that she kind of has the spotlight for once, because as I said, she's a real kind of overlooked Walsh sister. And I think this gives you such a better idea of Maggie, because if you just read her sister's book, she's kind of, apart from in Anna's, she'd kind of be described as like a lick arse, just because she's normal, where the rest of them are all kind of rebellious and drug addicts and husbands are leaving them, and you know, they're all kind of doing their own things a bit, whereas Maggie just kind of toes the line and has lived more of a normal life. Like, she's got the proper job, she's got savings, she got married quite young, you know, all the normal kind of things you do. And apart from the little blip where she runs off to LA and leaves Garth, she's pretty much the most stable. And at the end of the book, she's kind of got her life back on track again, which is really nice to see. So although Angels isn't exactly, it's not my favourite, it's a really good read, it's a really good Marian Keyes book, and I think that Maggie deserves more credit than she gets, and I do think that people should read this, because I'm sure people have read Rachel's Holiday, and then they've probably just gone on to like read Anna and Helen's books. But read Angels. Angels is really good. Give Maggie all the love and attention she deserves as being the white sheep of the Walsh clan. Yeah, Maggie and Daddy Walsh, Mr. Walsh, are the two that get really overlooked, I think, in that Walsh family. Mammy Walsh, you know, is doing her thing in this. She's not happy that the white sheep of a daughter has suddenly turned into another black sheep. I mean, poor Mammy Walsh. It's a hard life when she's trying to cook a turkey and she has no tinfoil. That is actually a Rachel's Holiday reference. From what I can remember, there's no talk of Mammy Walsh's cooking in Angels. I think Maggie's a bit nicer and a bit less hard on her parents. She does say that, like, she has to worry that her parents are getting older and she'll be the one to look after them, which probably true, really, to be honest. But yeah, I love Angels personally. Not my favourite of the Walsh Sister books, but I mean there's 5 of them, so, but it's not my least favourite actually. I'm kind of in the middle with it. It's not my favourite, not my least favourite, it's in the middle with the other 3 sisters. When we've done all this, I will tell you which ones are my favourite. So yeah, everyone go and read Angels, give Maggie all the love she deserves, and I will see you next week with Anna. And I will find more watermelon eventually, or I'll just do it without if you guys don't mind. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, if Angels is your favourite, if you agree with me and you think Maggie definitely doesn't get the love that she deserves. And I'll see you next week.